At understandcontractlawandyouvin.com, we show documentation that accepted for value and other procedures do work to set off and discharge credit cards, summonses, judgments, student loans, hospital bills, and mortgages. You can discharge all your debts if you become a creditor. We teach people who are ready to understand the concepts, principles, and technical procedures how to resolve all commercial matters with harmony by being a creditor, a secured party creditor. It's your choice. You can be a debtor, you can continue to be a debtor, or you can be a creditor. 95% of people researching this topic are not really creditors resolving their own and other people's problems. They're really just debtors looking for an easy, quick fix out of a mess that they created in their own lives. What our mission is to inspire and empower people to live a better life of abundance. Yes, you can settle your debts and discharge them, and you can be free and sovereign and immune from laws of the corporate fiction known as the United States. But there's so much more than that. Being a creditor is about responsibility. It's about serving other people and the world with your talents, sharing your knowledge with others, and being honorable to your commitments, to yourself, to those in your life, and if you're spiritual, to God. You have to live it. You have to breathe it. Being a creditor is not accomplished by paying somebody a few $100s to file paperwork for you that you were too incompetent to do on your own that you think is going to protect you from ever getting arrested, because it's not. It doesn't work like that. That's misinformation. Do your research. Being a creditor is a practice that you take on in your life at a personal level and that you live every day. Your life will really start to become abundant and free and joyful and blissful and amazing when you take this on at that level. The choice is yours. We're exposing you to this information, and it's your choice and your responsibility with what you want to do with it. This video is dedicated to Brandon Adams from Creditors in Commerce for teaching and introducing this information to myself and thousands of other students around the world. Thanks, Brandon.
And it just may be that this is a mirror image of what is possible for us to build for a functional society. A republic that operates only above the line and without trust. Think about that little pairing of words right there. Without trust. Doesn't mean that it's functional. Doesn't mean that that's going to be your remedy. Because without trust
is anarchy.
Exactly.
You want to be in a republic with anarchy and everybody around doing their own thing?
Because that's what it is. It's self-governance.
Stealing from you and beating you up at night and taking away your assets? Is that what you want?
That's the world we lived in prior to what we have now. Now, there is another possibility, but it requires a shift in consciousness, a paradigm shift that we've been talking about, where I'm no longer coming from what's in it for me. I'm no longer coming from there's not enough. I'm no longer coming from hoarding because of my sense that there's not enough and scarcity. I need, in order to create a functional society, I need to create trust. I need to create balance and abundance through operating not in a way that's what's in it for me, meaning I don't go around doing because of what I'm going to get in return, but I go around creating for the benefit of all my brothers and sisters and have faith that all I need will be provided to me. And as this shift in consciousness happens and we all start to direct our energy and how can I serve the brothers and sisters around me, and all of them start doing the same thing, we'll all be taken care of. But see, what that requires is trust and faith. And And that's really where greed is born, is that lack of faith, that sense of scarcity, which isn't necessarily true. It's what we make up, that there's not enough. So start to at least toy with the idea that another paradigm is possible, because as your consciousness rises, as you start to toy with these thoughts and ideas of operating from a non-profit sensibility, meaning I'm not doing this for what's in it for me, I'm doing this to be of service to others. And as others start to be of service to others, we start to create a system that is generative as opposed to degenerative. We start to create something that is abundant as opposed to scarce. So this model is perfect for us to really wrap our heads around, not necessarily being sovereign. We want to be sovereign, but we want to be sovereign in the sense of being in service. I mean, look at our past. What happens when a sovereign is only concerned with themselves? He's a tyrant. He's a tyrant. And the masses starve and they go without. But if a sovereign treats all others as sovereign and comes from a place of how can I be of service to my brother and sister sovereign, we can completely turn this paradigm upside down and make and create something beautiful, something in harmony, something in balance. But it takes a shift in consciousness. There is no how-to map for this. Because until it's born in your heart and consciousness of a way of being in service to others, we can't bring it about in our reality. So remember we were talking about being a creditor being a practice that you take on in your life? Start to take that on at a personal level. How can you be in service to your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousins, your uncles, your neighbors, your friends, strangers? How can you be in service? I don't mean give them money. That's not necessarily being in service. We have to get out of the idea that money, especially in the form of Federal Reserve notes, fixes problems. Who's the source of the solution? What's the source of solutions? We are. So let's start to foster an idea that we can be in service to each other. There's a gentleman who, this is probably the first workshop he hasn't been at since we started doing workshops. And he never asked for a benefit in the sense that it's not that he's got a lot of resources, but every time he comes, he's not only donating to our cause so that we can create more, but he's not just sitting there receiving either. He comes here, donates the money to be here, and then the entire time he's here, he's in service to the space. He'll go back, grab microphones, and when someone starts talking, he'll run over and hand them a microphone. He's just naturally coming from a place of being in service and creating. And if we all start to take on this in every aspect of our lives, like think about it, in your work environment, how can I be in service to my fellow employees if I'm an employee? If I'm a service provider, rather than looking at it, how can I make money? How can I be in service to my community? You'll be able to build very successful businesses if you come from as, what's the need? How can I serve? If that's your focus, your value goes way up.